The nurse was still peeling tape off my arm when my sister's suitcase wheels clicked across the hospital floor. I heard them before I saw her. Fast. Excited. Not even slowing down. My incision burned. I hadn't stood up yet. She leaned into my doorway, already wearing her ski jacket, phone in her hand, camera angled just right. She didn't look at the blood seeping through the edge of my bandage. She didn't look at me at all. "Dad's stable," she said, smiling at her screen. "We can still make the flight." I tried to speak. My throat felt stitched shut. She turned, rolling her bag away, and over her shoulder added, "Don't be dramatic. You're young. You'll heal." My phone buzzed in my palm. A notification, her post. "Touchdown Aspen, Daddy's recovery trip." I stared at it while my vision went dark around the edges, and that was the moment I understood exactly what I had traded my kidney for. The pain didn't hit all at once. It came in waves, like my body was testing how much I could handle before breaking me completely. My side felt split open, hot and tight, every breath a reminder that something was missing. I lay there staring at the ceiling tiles, counting the tiny cracks, because it was easier than thinking about what I'd just done. I had given my father my kidney 12 hours earlier. He was in another wing, private room, better pain meds, doctors checking on him every hour. I knew that because my sister made sure to tell me. Twice. Like it was proof that everything was fine now. Like my body was just an afterthought. A nurse came in, adjusted my IV, asked me to rate my pain. I said 6. It was a lie. It was closer to 9, but I'd learned early in life that exaggerating pain only made people roll their eyes. Especially in my family. When she left, I reached for the call button again. My mouth was dry. My head was spinning. The painkillers were wearing off faster than they should have. The little plastic cup on my tray was empty. I pressed the button. No one came. I pressed it again. Still nothing. That's when I noticed my purse wasn't where I left it. I tried to sit up and immediately regretted it. White fire shot through my side and I gasped, clutching the blanket. My heart started racing, not just from pain, but from something colder. A familiar feeling. That sense that I'd been careless. Trusting, I slowly swung my legs off the bed, every movement deliberate, like my body belonged to someone else. I shuffled to the small bathroom, gripping the counter, breathing through my teeth. My purse wasn't there. Neither was my phone charger. Or the small bottle of pain medication the doctor had given me earlier, with strict instructions. I knew before I checked my phone. 3 missed notifications. All from my sister. The last one was a photo, her feet crossed, fuzzy white boots resting on an airplane floor, a glass of champagne in her hand, captioned in all caps, "To UCHDO Bubanas PM. DAD'S for Eco Veraway TRIP." I stared at the screen until it blurred. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. If you've ever been treated like this by family, hit like and subscribe, because this story proves what happens when you stop staying silent. I didn't cry. That surprised me. I thought I would. Instead, something inside me went very still. She'd taken my painkillers. I knew she had. She always hated the idea of me getting special treatment. She used to joke that I was better at playing sick than being useful. Even when we were kids, if I got hurt, she'd roll her eyes and say I was milking it. I shuffled back to bed, each step slower than the last. The room felt too bright, too loud. Somewhere down the hall, someone laughed. I wondered if it was my father. Probably not. He hated hospitals. But he loved the attention that came with illness. He had cried when the doctor said he needed a transplant. Held my hands. "Promise me things. I'll take care of you," he'd said. "After this everything changes. I won't forget what you did for me." I believed him. That was my mistake. The nurse finally came back, apologized, handed me a new dose. I swallowed it dry, barely feeling relief. My phone buzzed again. Another post from my sister. This one a video. Mountains out the window, music playing, her laughing, no mention of me. I thought about texting her. About asking where my meds were. About reminding her that I'd just lost an organ. Instead, I locked my phone and stared at the wall. When my father finally FaceTimed me that evening, he didn't ask how I was. He looked pale, dramatic, tubes everywhere. He sighed heavily, like the effort of surviving was exhausting him. She left already, he asked. Yes, I said. Well, he replied, shifting the camera. You know how she is. She planned this for months. I didn't want to disappoint her. I nodded. Slowly. Carefully. Like my body might split open if I moved too fast. I'm proud of you. He added, almost as an afterthought. You did the right thing. Then he hung up. I lay there long after the screen went dark, replaying that sentence in my head. You did the right thing. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, the pain sharpened, the machines beeped, nurses whispered. I watched the hours crawl past on the clock, each minute heavy. Around 3 a.m., my phone lit up again. A message from my sister. Hey, don't freak out, but I borrowed your meds. Dad might need extra if the pain spikes. You're tough. You'll be fine. I read it 3 times. Borrowed. I typed a reply. Deleted it. Typed another. Deleted that too. Instead, I opened my banking app. I don't know why at first. Maybe instinct. Maybe habit. I'd been handling my dad's finances for months. Paying bills. Managing accounts. Making sure nothing bounced while he was sick. I watched the screen load. Then my stomach dropped. Multiple pending charges. Luxury hotel. Ski rentals. A spa, thousands of dollars. All on my father's card. The same card linked to the joint account I had access to. The one he'd added me to. For emergencies. The one funded mostly by his savings. Savings he'd promised would help me recover. Help me take time off work. Help me heal. I realized then that this trip wasn't about recovery. It never was. I lay back against the pillow, my side throbbing, my chest tight, and for the first time since the surgery, I smiled. Not because I was happy, but because something inside me finally clicked into place. They thought I was weak because I was quiet. They thought I'd given up a kidney, and would give up everything else too. They were wrong. I didn't act right away. That's important. People always imagine revenge as something loud, impulsive. Mine wasn't. Mine was quiet, surgical. The same way they'd cut me open and stitched me back together. By morning, my sister had posted 6 more times. Breakfast with a view. Matching ski passes. A caption about family first. That made my jaw tighten. My father liked every post. Little blue hearts. Public gratitude. Private silence. A nurse helped me walk for the first time. 3 steps. That's all I could manage before my vision tunneled, and sweat soaked through my gown. She guided me back to bed and told me I was doing great. Great didn't feel like the word. When she left, I opened my laptop. The hospital fee was slow, but it worked. I logged into the account again. The numbers stared back at me unchanged. Still bleeding. Still funding champagne and powder snow while I counted breaths. I remembered the paperwork my dad had signed before surgery. Power of attorney. Temporary, he'd said. Just until he recovered. He trusted me. That's what he told the lawyer. What he meant was that he trusted me not to use it. I clicked through the transactions carefully. Every charge timestamped. Every indulgence neatly labeled. There was no rage in me as I saved copies. Just clarity. The kind that comes when denial finally runs out. My phone buzzed. A message from my aunt. How's your dad? Your sister says he's doing amazing. I didn't reply. Later that afternoon, the surgeon stopped by. He explained recovery again. Risks again, the importance of rest. He asked if I had support at home. Yes. I said automatically. The word tasted wrong. When visiting hours started, my room stayed empty. No flowers. No cards. No family members slipping into a chair with a worried look. I watched other patients receive visitors, listened to soft voices, laughter. Murmured encouragement. I told myself it didn't matter. That night my sister called. FaceTime. I let it ring 3 times before answering. She was flushed from cold and wine, hair perfectly styled under a knit hat. My father was beside her, wrapped in a designer blanket, oxygen tube barely visible. There she is, he said. How's my hero? I looked at him. Really looked. He wasn't weak, he wasn't confused, he was comfortable. I'm in pain, I said. My sister sighed. See? Dramatic! I don't have my medication. She waved a hand. We talked about this. Dad might need it. He nodded, slow and solemn. I appreciate you being flexible. Flexible. I adjusted the phone so they could see my face clearly. Pale, tired, calm. You're using my recovery money, I said. There was a pause. Not shock, not guilt, calculation. It's family money, my sister replied. Don't be weird. My father frowned slightly. We'll sort it out later. Focus on healing. That was when I understood something else. They weren't panicking because they didn't think I'd do anything. In their minds, I was already paid. Kidney given. Role fulfilled. After the call ended, I emailed the hospital social worker, then my employer, then the lawyer whose card was still in my bag. Each message was short, factual, no emotion. The next day, I was discharged. My sister didn't come to get me. She sent a ride. The driver didn't help with my bag. I didn't ask him to. At home, the apartment felt foreign, too quiet, too empty. I lowered myself onto the couch and stayed there for hours, staring at the wall. Every movement hurt. Every breath reminded me of what I'd lost. Not just an organ. On the third day, the bank called. Unusual activity. Large withdrawals. International charges. I thanked the woman on the line and told her I was aware. Then I told her I wanted to place a temporary hold on all discretionary spending. Effective immediately. She hesitated, asked for confirmation. Legal authority. I sent the documents. When I hung up, my hands were shaking. Not from fear, from exhaustion. From the weight of finally doing something irreversible. My phone exploded an hour later. Missed calls, voicemails, texts stacking on top of each other. What did you do? Call me now. The card isn't working. Dade's meds are expensive. Stop this. I didn't respond. By evening, the messages shifted. Please. We're stranded. Fix this and we'll talk. I lay on my side. Phone face down, listening to my own breathing. Slow. Controlled. The pain was still there, but it was different now. It wasn't the loudest thing in the room anymore. At midnight, my father finally texted, "You're hurting your sister." I read it once. Then I turned the phone off. I slept for almost 10 hours after I turned my phone off. It wasn't peaceful sleep. It was heavy drugged, full of sharp waking moments where I forgot where I was and reached for a body part that wasn't whole anymore. When I finally woke up, my mouth tasted like metal, and my side felt like it had been reattached wrong. The phone was still dark. For the first time since the surgery, no one could reach me, and the world didn't end. I made tea slowly, gripping the counter when my legs shook. I took my medication on schedule, the way the doctor told me to. I ate toast. I sat by the window and watched a woman walk her dog, ordinary life moving forward without noticing what had been taken from me. Around noon, I turned the phone back on. 63 missed messages. I didn't read them all. I didn't need to. The previews told me enough. Panic had replaced entitlement. The tone had shifted from accusation to desperation overnight. My sister's messages came in clusters. Long paragraphs. Then voice notes. Crying in one. Angry in the next. You're ruining everything. This isn't fair. Dad needs this trip. I noticed she still hadn't asked how I was. My father left 3 voicemails. His voice was strained. Theatrical, like he was speaking to an audience. You're being emotional. This isn't what family does. You're going to regret this. I deleted them. The lawyer called me that afternoon. Calm. Precise. He confirmed what I already knew. Everything I'd done was within the limits of the authority my father had signed over. Temporary. Revocable. But active. You should expect pushback, he said. They won't like losing control. I thanked him and hung up. The pushback came faster than expected. My aunt showed up at my door the next morning without calling. She stood in my hallway, arms crossed, eyes scanning my apartment like she was assessing damage. You need to fix this, she said. No greeting, no concern. I leaned against the wall, careful not to strain my side. Fix what? Your sister is humiliated. They had to leave the resort. I waited. You embarrassed your father, she added. After everything he's been through. I nodded slowly. I gave him my kidney. She waved it off. Don't be dramatic. He didn't ask you to. That sentence landed harder than any insult so far. I closed the door gently in her face and locked it. That night, I cried for the first time. Not loud. Not messy. Just silent tears sliding into my hair while I lay on my back, staring at the ceiling. I cried for the version of me who thought sacrifice guaranteed care. For the woman who believed being useful meant being loved. In the middle of it, my phone buzzed again. A text from my sister. I took the pills because Dad was in pain. I didn't think you'd notice. I stared at the words. Didn't think I'd notice. My hands were steady when I replied. You stole medication prescribed to a surgical patient. She called immediately. I let it ring. The next day, the hospital called. Then the transplant coordinator. Then a pharmacist. Questions were being asked. Paper trails have a way of doing that. By Friday, my sister's tone changed again. This is getting serious. Why are doctors calling us? Just tell them it was a misunderstanding. I didn't answer. My father texted once more. You're turning everyone against us. I read it and finally typed back. I'm not doing anything. I stopped paying. There was a long pause. Then, you owe us. That was the moment something hardened permanently inside me. I owed them my kidney. I'd paid in blood and pain and risk. Everything after that was a choice, and they had chosen themselves over and over, without hesitation. On Sunday, I received a certified letter, legal letterhead. Demand to reinstate access. Accusations of emotional distress. Claims that I was unfit to manage finances due to post-operative instability. I laughed. Out loud, the sound surprised me. I forwarded it to my lawyer and lay back, breathing through the ache in my side. They weren't asking anymore. They were afraid. The fear showed up in small ways first. Misspelled threats. Late night calls that cut off before voicemail. Messages sent and deleted so fast, I only caught half a sentence in the notification bar. They were scrambling now. Trying to regain footing on ground they'd never imagined losing. My lawyer advised me not to engage. I didn't need the advice. Silence had become natural. 2 weeks after the surgery, I went back to the hospital for a follow-up. Walking through those doors again made my chest tighten. The smell. The lights. The memory of being left alone while my sister rolled a suitcase toward a gate. The transplant coordinator greeted me by name. She asked how my support system was holding up. I didn't lie this time. I don't have one. She nodded, like she'd heard that answer before. Maybe she had. She reviewed my chart, my recovery, my vitals. Then she asked about the missing medication. I told her exactly what happened. Calm, specific, dates, messages, screenshots. She didn't react emotionally. She didn't need to. She wrote everything down. When I left, I felt lighter. Not because things were better. Because the truth was finally documented somewhere other than my own head. That evening, my sister showed up. I saw her through the peephole before she knocked. Hair pulled back, no makeup. Designer coat replaced by something plain. She looked smaller without her audience. I didn't open the door. She knocked again. Harder? I know you're home, she said. I waited. Please. She added, voice cracking. We need to talk. I unlocked the door but didn't invite her in. She stood there, eyes flicking to my midsection, then away. You look tired, she said. I'm recovering, I replied. She swallowed. Dad's in trouble. I didn't react. They're asking questions, she continued. Doctors, insurance, the bank. They think I took the meds on purpose. You did. She flinched. I didn't think it mattered. There it was again. That casual dismissal of my pain. Of my body. Of my sacrifice. I need you to fix this, she said. Just tell them you gave them to me. I shook my head. Slowly, her face hardened. After everything I've done for you. I almost smiled. You didn't even stay, I said. You didn't check on me. You took my medication and left the country. She stepped closer. You're destroying this family. I met her eyes. There was nothing to destroy. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me anymore. Maybe she didn't. The version of me she knew would have apologized by now. Would have folded. Would have taken the blame just to keep the peace. That woman was gone. She left without another word. The fallout wasn't immediate. It never is. It came in letters. In quiet consequences. In systems doing what they're designed to do when someone crosses a line. My father's insurance flagged inconsistencies. His doctors restricted prescription access. His accounts were reviewed. My sister was asked to provide explanations she didn't have. He called me once during that time. Not to yell. Not to plead. His voice was low. I never thought you'd go this far, he said. I closed my eyes. You went further first. He was silent. You can still stop this, he said finally. No, I replied. I already stopped. After that he didn't call again. Weeks passed. My body healed slowly. I learned its new limits. How long I could stand. How far I could walk. What pain felt normal now. I learned how quiet life can be when you stop chasing approval. The family group chat went silent. Invitations stopped coming. Holidays approached and passed without a word. It hurt. I won't pretend it didn't. But it didn't hollow me out the way it used to. One afternoon, a letter arrived addressed only to me, from the hospital's legal department, acknowledging my report, thanking me for my cooperation, informing me that appropriate steps were being taken. I set it down on the table and sat there for a long time. Justice didn't come with fireworks. It came with boundaries holding. By the time winter ended, the story everyone else was telling about me had settled into something simple. Cold. Ungrateful. Difficult. The daughter who turned on her own family after they supported her through a medical crisis. I let them have that version. The truth didn't need defending anymore. My father never apologized. He sent one message in early spring, short, controlled. The doctors say stress is bad for my recovery. I hope you understand. I read it once and archived it. My sister tried one last time a month later. No drama this time. No accusations. Just a picture of us as kids. Arms around each other. Smiling for a camera we didn't know how to perform for yet. I miss how things were, she wrote. I stared at the photo longer than I should have. I remembered that day. I remembered standing just outside the frame, right before the picture was taken, being told to move, because the light hit her face better. Even then, it was always about angles, about appearances. I replied. That was the last message I ever sent her. My body kept healing. Slowly. Unevenly. Some days I forgot what had been taken. Other days I felt it with every movement. But the fog I'd lived in for years lifted. I stopped second-guessing myself. Stopped rehearsing explanations in my head for people who had already decided who I was. I took my name off the joint accounts once the legal window closed. Clean. Final. No announcement. I found a different doctor. A different routine. A quieter life. One where my worth wasn't measured by how much of myself I could give away. On the anniversary of the surgery, I went back to the hospital alone. I stood in the same hallway, where my sister's suitcase wheels had echoed, where I'd realized I was disposable to them as long as I stayed useful. I didn't feel anger standing there, just clarity. I had given my father my kidney, because I believed love was proven through sacrifice. What I learned instead was that love without boundaries isn't love. It's permission. They lost access to my money, my time, my body. Eventually they lost access to me. No confrontation ever gave me closure. No apology arrived in the mail. No dramatic moment, where they suddenly understood what they'd done. Closure came quietly. It came the first morning I woke up without checking my phone. The first holiday I spent alone without feeling lonely. The first time someone asked about my family, and I answered honestly, without shame. I don't speak to them. And the world didn't collapse. I didn't give him my kidney to save him. I gave it, because I was raised to believe my survival came second. The decision I made after that surgery was the first one I ever made to save myself.